Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today with the show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, who has been working on the immigration field for over 45 years. And she has been there from the city of Cleveland since 1977, helping thousands of families starting from then and helping many, many people every single year, 4,000, 5,000 families each year, and a lot of people grateful for the help that she has given them. So we are really thankful for having Ms. Wong today with us, and we want to invite you to join us in this show and share this post. If you have any questions, please just don't hesitate for sending your questions, and Ms. Wong will be able to answer each one of them. Thank you so much. And today is Thursday, is English show today. Miss Wong, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm good and thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Wong. And there is something interesting that happened to a tennis player in Australia because he's the number one in the world. But nevertheless, he was deported from Australia because he didn't want to get the vaccine. Now people are thinking that he may not be able to come to the United States if he doesn't get the vaccine before he comes to play the US Open. Um, would it be a real thing that could happen here in the United States even if he comes with a tourist visa?
And Mr. Juan Carlos, I know you're a big sports fan. I know you love sports, but I really believe nobody, in spite of how old we are, who we are, we could be the number one. Even President Obama, he was the president of the United States for 8 years. I did all the immigration work for him, for his family from Kenya, his auntie who was here undocumented, his uncle who was here, since the 60s. Nobody's above the law. So even the aunties and uncles of President Obama, this person, um, they have to listen to the country. This is the requirement of the country. Then all more powerful. And Australia is such a wonderful Western world. Of course, they have their problem with the indigenous. Um, that's another issue. But all more power to Australia. I totally agree that you cannot rise above the law.
Thank you so much, Miss Wong, for this answer. And yeah, that's true. And some people have different thoughts about it. But coming back to the immigration field in the United States of America, for the visa interviews, are families or people being requested the vaccine, the proof of the vaccine
Yes,
before going there?
yes.
Yes. And what if I want to come to the United States, but I don't want to get the vaccine? They will
Uh,
not let me
I
in?
think it's two laws. One is the medical report when you want to get a green card. The medical started, I think, is last October, November. Requires the some sort of shots and stuff. Um, but coming into America in the last few days, few months, like if you go to Hong Kong, required 21 a day's shelter. You have to pay your own way in a hotel. There are only certain hotels who allow 21 a day stay because all meals are included. You cannot even leave the little room because Hong Kong has very expensive real estate prices. So as far as do they need the vaccine to come to America, it's really up to America, but I don't really know the answer because I don't follow vaccines. I just know I myself took all the shots. I mean, I'm totally protected. You have to when you work in an office of our size. But as far as do people have to take the vaccine, I don't know the answer.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And of course, there are a lot of questions that we can have regarding to immigration, especially now that we have been stuck in so many things with the institutions because of COVID-19 that has now extended to different kind of variations of the virus. If you need more information, just please give us a call, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong, we have an interesting question. Hi, attorney. Have been watching your video on YouTube. I am from Philippines. Came here to the United States with H-2B visa last April 2013. My visa expired on December 26, 2013. I continued working and paid taxes. I am married and my family is in the Philippines. I never left the United States since I came here, never committed any crime or criminal offense. Is there any way for me to adjust my status? My employer is petitioning H-2B visa every year, or am I qualified to apply for asylum? Please include my question in your live Q&A.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Your question is a typical question as of you legally entered, you overstayed. In this case, I hope you kept your paychecks or W-2 or 1099 on the H-2B case, because you can be paid either 1099 or W-2 or even cash, but I would keep records of that pay to show there's no visa fraud. So your legal entry overstayed. And a lot of times H-2B are not difficult to get from countries like Mexico, Philippines, because there's so many of us who just want to come to America and work that season. And this is a seasonal working permit. I'm sorry to see that you did not request an extension of H-2B, because H-2B, you could stay in America for 3 years with extensions, and H-3, you can stay in America for 2 years. H-1, you can stay in America for 6 years. So I'm really sorry to see that, because most of us are such good workers. I don't see anything you can do too much. You also cannot do the non-LPR 482B, because you have no parents, spouse, or children in America, because I saw that you're married, but your family is all in Philippines. And the reason why you got that H-2B, I suspect, is because on the DS-160, you said you were married. So because you're married there, so American Embassy is holding the family hostage. Knowing that you have a family there, you would go back one day. But for now, I would not do anything. If anything, I would keep those paychecks to show there's no visa fraud. Make sure you don't lose your passport or throw away your passport at I-94, because you could, even if Biden new law comes in, I'm presuming that legal entry is better than undocumented entry. But for now, that's really very little. And I feel bad, because if you had extended the H-2B even once, file a labor certification and get that green card, you would have gotten it, because Philippines line is not that long. It's not like China and Mexico. We have a very, Mexico, India, that we have very, very long lines.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget that Ms. Wong has offices in 9 cities of the United States, in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. This next question says, hi, I got my asylum granted on 2018, filed I-485 on June 2019, but still waiting for my green card. I sent my medical exams back then. Do I need to do them again? And also, why is it taking so long? Thank you.
Very good question. It's taking so long because of the virus, because immigration, see, that's a problem. Even with Biden coming in, my suspicion is a lot of Trump people are still there. They're just, I mean, we finally got like 50, 60 work permit approval this morning. I mean, actually sent out from the government on January 10th. They only reached our office like 2 days, 3 days ago. So they're really slow. We have been seeing work permits that was filed in April and May, and only now are they approved, and some are still not approved. A good question. Absolutely do not leave the country or go back to Colombia unless you become a citizen, because asylum grant means that you have a fear of going back. So I just don't want you, to go home, and then when you apply for and 400 apply for citizenship, they're going to ask, why did you go home? Because you're not supposed to go home home, stuff like that. It is taking a long time. I'm very sorry. But the good news is you don't have to wait for 5 years to apply for citizenship. You can only apply for 4 years. You can apply directly 4 years and 1 day. And there's no 90-day ahead. So only apply for citizenship after 4 years and 1 day after that green card date. But it is taking a long time. And there's no way to really push it unless you need to go some other country, like maybe Mexico or somewhere, but never Colombia again until you become a citizen.
Thank you so much, Miss Wong. And yeah, some people get confused about this stuff about the medical exams. So are they valid if they did it back in 2019 and they don't
Is
have to do it again?
discretion is that's a good question. I forgot to answer that earlier. Thank you, Mr. Juan Carlos. Basically, the medical, I won't do it unless they came back with a question. You need new medical. Don't give them new medical now because they may not need it. Because there was a time the medical has to be valid for 60 days before you file. So a lot of times we don't even file with the medical. Now that Trump come in, now they send you a letter, my clients all get upset, say, why did you attach my medical? So now we're changing, we're attaching the medical, which you did. On the other hand, though, they may want a new one, they may not. My gut is they probably won't not want a new one. But if they want a new one, just give it to them, because normally once you give it to them, the case should be approved in 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, once you respond to RB, and that's RB question.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, this is a very important situation about the exams for the visa. The next question says, if I leave the country, how long do I wait to be able to enter again? I am retired in my country, Colombia, for 3 years now. I am 60 years old. I am on a tourist visa. My son has been a permanent resident for 4 years. Because of the pandemic, his wife is not working, and at the moment, they have many debts. A solution would be I could stay and take care of the baby who is 2 years old, and they both of them can work, so they can get out of so many debts. What are the chances that I get a second extension?
Okay. Uh, this is the second. So you already had stayed here for 12 months. As long as you have a good reason, American immigration is sort of also silly. But people like you and I, when we help our kids babysit, it's very much, it's my grandchild. I better help babysit. But never, never put on your tourist visa extension you're helping the babysit, because you're displacing an American job, because American people needs babysitting jobs. So I would not say that. I may want to say companion to my children who's in a lot of debt. So as long as you give them a good reason, second extension is not difficult, especially under COVID. Um, it's up to you. If you leave the country, it'll be hard to come back. That's why you asked that question. That's a smart question, because you already did one extension. Anytime you did one extension here, that means you stay here more than 6 months, especially from countries that's very hard to get visas. This is Colombia. So it's up to you. So I personally would do an extension because you're retired already. Because even if you became illegal or undocumented, extensions denied, your son is a green card for 4 years. So he would be able to apply for citizenship 4 years and 9 months and 1 day. And don't do it earlier than 1 day, because they'll reject it after 3 months. They drive us crazy. So do it. You don't even need a lawyer. Once the son becomes a citizen, in Ohio, it's taking less than 1 year now to become a citizen, sometimes 6 months. But because of the virus, it's also slowed down. So if you could stay here, even illegally, if the son does become a citizen, you should be able to get work permit and green card.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And please, if you need more information about this case, please give us a call, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Interesting questions today, Ms. Wong. And the next one is, my wife is US citizen. I entered illegally. We did I-130 and 601, but still waiting for answer to file 485. How can I request more information from immigration?
Okay, I think you did the wrong form. If I understand your question. First, you do the I-130. At the back of the form, you should have said American Embassy from wherever you're from. It seemed like you filed I-130 and a 601. 601 is a pardon for fraud or for 10-year bar. But in this case, because you enter undocumented, 601 does not cure undocumented entry. So this is a case where you need to do an 824 to transfer the I-130 approval. If it's approved to the National Visa Center, then see, another thing is 824 would take another 9 months to 1.5 years. Another way to do is do another I-130 and attach the approval notice and say it's approved, but can you please send it to overseas? Once they received it, you'll get a fee bill of $120 and $345 or $55. Pay it right away. Now you do a 601A because 601A waives 10-year bar. If you leave the country and come back, but 601 does not waive it, and I feel very bad for you. If the I-130 is not approved yet, it doesn't hurt to do an amended one or write them a letter with a receipt so they can find the file and say, please send the approval to the National Visa Center. Sorry about that. It's a 601A case if you enter undocumented. I hope you never left and come back. That presumes a perm bar, which means that even 601A don't cure. So, yeah.
So Ms. Wong,
Sorry
he's
about that.
stating that it was actually 601A and his wife has a liver problem. And I have a work permit for asylum, but I waited for 5 years already here in the United States.
Did he say when did he come to America? Because, if your wife have a liver problem and if you are in New York, San Francisco, Chicago, those are good states, even Boston, you may win non-LPR 10-year cancellation that you don't have to go. But show the OCC the I-130 approval so they know it's a bona fide relationship. Because sometimes people marry a sick woman just to get to stay here on 42B. That's what I would do if it's a serious illness. But it's cities like Ohio, they're difficult. The denial rate is very high. Even Memphis, but depends because there are some judges in Memphis that really are very good to children. So at Atlanta, because they're postponing, so it depends on what state or city. Maybe you don't even have to go. I would push the 42B if you already have here for 10 years. And if or if you started 5 years after entry on asylum, if NT have no date and time, you can do NITS now at the 42B. These are sort of complicated cases, and I'm glad I'm old enough to be able to answer you, but do maybe once in a while get a second opinion. If your wife is sick, it really helps you. And depends on her tax return, depends on how old she is and the illness and stuff. These are good cases. You can get it.
Thank you so much. And this person says, good afternoon, my lawyer. God bless you. Thank you so much, Irvin, for this message.
Oh, you're so
And
sweet. Thank you. God bless you
thank
too.
you so much. And this next question says, what is the easiest investment visa you recommend Indian investors? Thank you.
Okay. Because it's an Indian investment, Indian quota are all open, but even then, the 526 is taking 3.5 years, like 2 years and 9 months to 4 years. If you're waiting in India, because I have a lot of people want to wait in America because they want to work, they have to build the empire, they just don't want to stay here for 5 years. So what's the easiest investment? There's no more regional center until new law comes in. All you have now is better. Actually, it's better because instead of 800,000, now it's $500,000, it's 500,000. You have to create 10 jobs. So, for example, I own I'm a Indian client from Canada, right? So I'm on an e-visa. So I save up enough money. I own a gas station that hires 3 American citizens. So instead of buying another gas station that hired 3 American citizens, which means that you did not increase any job, you need to maybe buy an empty warehouse which has 0 job and start building it into a hotel, motel, a gas station. If the business doesn't matter, because the $500,000 could be used solely on renovation or on the hiring of people. The whole thing is to create 10 new jobs and invest in America. What kind of business? I mean, that's why you're the business person. I'm just a lawyer. I can do all the work. I can structure the deal for you, but I won't know what business. And that's when there's some really good companies in America who recommend these business. In Cleveland, we have Mr. Steven Stranish from IMF. He has a investment ready for two investor in a very good area in Cleveland, and I'm trying to help him, get the green card. But Indian, I mean, all countries, 526 is taking about 3.5 years.
Yes, this person, Miss Wong, is stating that they create
Gold
gold
jewelry.
jewelry.
So the promise gold jewelries, you will never hire 10 people because all you need is one person or two-person to fix up the jewelry. If you start a retail business, because I love Indian gold, it's really pure gold. And if you bought it years ago, you made a lot of money now. That's another thing. So the source of funds is not a problem because I can show how much I paid 10 years ago. Gold nowadays is like 100, 1,000, 800, whatever. So something really high. But there was a time gold was like $200, so we can prove how much you paid for it, how much. So the source of funds is right there because of the increase in value. Probably your grandparents or your parents are in the same business. You're from Gujarat. Um, so, um, so is the question is how could I convince immigration that this is an underserved location that's 500,000 and I'm creating with this business 10, because even if you start a jewelry store, you need only two people, or three people, and then it's more part-time because then you don't have to pay, health insurance and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not trying to discourage it. I'm just saying that's what most people do it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget that you have more information on the YouTube channel of Ms. Wong. Actually, she spoke last week about the Stay in Mexico program that has been reinstated, and she explains a lot of it on Spotify or Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and you can look for it on the YouTube channel on video as well. And you can find it in Spanish on Spotify and YouTube as well, translated into Spanish. So you can find more information about what's going on with the Stay in Mexico program, which has been a really controversial program that in the beginning didn't uh, was not in this new administration, but then it had to be reinstated because people maybe they took it in a bad way. So it had to be reinstated just to keep control of some institutions of the country. So if you want to know more about this, just please visit Margaret W. Wong and Associates on YouTube, or go to the Immigrant's Way on Spotify, and you will find that podcast in those platforms. So, Ms. Wong, talking about the Stay in Mexico program, um, in the past, detention centers like Atlanta, they would have agreements with the government, but somehow the mayor of Atlanta canceled the contract with this detention center. Is it a good thing or is it bad for immigration cases? And now there are some uh, requests that people are saying, please don't send us to jail just because you have to pay it or because you have business with it.
Right. So actually, I think that's a good thing because America jails are so overbuilt in the 90s because really non-serious possession of marijuana, stuff like that, you go to jail for years. But then nowadays, with the federal court allowing judges with discretion, it's a lot more white collar people who go to jail now instead of serious criminals. So the jails are overbuilt. That's why all these communities under Trump, even under Bush, they sign contracts with ICE and the legacy INS saying that if you give me like more than 100 foreign people who have a deportation order, I'll only charge you 125, 135. So everything is money. Even the ankle bracelets, the changing of battery is like 25. It adds up because, and then they'll say, and those people can work overtime because they'll say, I have to call you for 24 hours on every Wednesday. So poor guy will stay home and these people don't show up. And then they show up on a Thursday, or of course the person is working and now they say, so there's a lot of problems. So I think personally it's good that all these jails use their contracts. But if they want to win it back, of course, everybody needs to make their money. At least give people some food, some warm coffee. You don't put people in a cold jail at night. So I always like to tell my clients, always bring extra large white underwears because then they'll do your laundry. They each jail have but most jails allow you to bring your loved ones um, um, like long t-shirts or long underwears, but it has to be white. So I always tell people that make sure you bring white stuff. But you can buy it as $2, but it's more expensive. Buy it inside, or you can bribe people to give it to you. But absolutely it's a good thing because it'll put pressure on the jails to give us better service. It's just like going to a hotel, right? It's still $125 and or going somewhere, but at least people greet you nicer. I mean, not that people in jail deserve it, but at least give people 3 meals with no germs in it. I mean, it's just common human dignity.
Thank you so much, Miss Wong. And well, we have time for one more question, but don't forget that you can call Miss Wong on the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Miss Wong, is there any date coming that you are going to start traveling again to the cities to meet people in person?
Yes, tomorrow I'll be in Columbus. Next week I'll be in Nashville, and the week after that I'll be going to both Atlanta and Nashville, I think, or
Okay.
somewhere. Yes, I'm traveling.
That's perfect. And thank you so much for giving us this information. So if you want to set consultation with Miss Wong, please just give us a call, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. This next question says, hi, are deportations being reestablished? Thank you.
See, let me explain to you. This is a very good question. The word deportation is a weird word. Actually, that law is before April of 97. So before April of 97, the word is deportation. After April of 97, the word changed to removal. So now, instead of get confused, lawyers would say deportation and removal defenses. What does that mean? That means that if I'm charged with an NTA after April 97 or before April 97, is called OSC. What's your defense? I mean, how do you plead? You couldn't just say, hey, I just want to stay in America. There's voluntary departure, that's asylum, withholding CAT, green card. If you're married to a citizen, you enter legally, no perm bar. If I have a criminal record, I had a green card, but I lost it because of the criminal record. There's 42A, 10-year cancellation is 42B. So there's a lot of defense. So the good question is, are deportation being reinstated, reestablished? The right question should be, if I had a deportation order, would I be deported? The answer right now from Biden, and I shouldn't say it because then everybody go out there and have a deportation order. But what Biden is saying, as long as you have no criminal records, as long as you have you have a job, especially taking care of elderly or children, and you have ties in America, normally they do not deport you. So they never really took it away. It's just discretion of the administration. Under Trump, it doesn't matter. You get deported, everybody. I mean, just they don't even sign, they just kick you out the second day. You didn't have the time to get a lawyer. Under Obama, you still get deported, but at least nicely, not as mean. Obama deported more than 3 million people about what Trump does, but Trump did it very loudly to please his base. So deportation have never been gone. It's still here, but what they're saying is that because of shortage of workers, they're not going to do any job rate. They're not going to try to deport. That's why the jail is a problem, because nobody goes to jail now. So the jail now is saying, "Oh, I might as well cancel the contract," or they need to be nice. Not that people should not or should go to jail. That's not the issue. The issue is the jail for immigration is 100 times, maybe 50 times more worse than the jail that normal people goes to, because they know people like us, we don't have a voice, we don't vote, we have no political power. But I think that's changing. Yes, New York is starting letting people vote as long as they have some sort of a legal status or work permit. And I think that's the first step.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Miss Wong. And well, our time is up for today, Miss Wong. So thank you so much for all of your answers, and looking forward to see you next week, which we're going to be talking more about new updates about the immigration field. Thank you so much, Miss Wong, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget, Miss Wong, you can call her to the phone number 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984, attorney Margaret W. Wong with over 45 years of experience. Thank you and see you next time.